In a sentence, what is Crash all about?
Well, Crash is the construction and property industry's charity to help homeless people by improving the buildings that they need. And typically those would be emergency hostels, night shelters, day centres and first stage move-on accommodation.
Okay, brilliant. How many people are helped by Crash every year?
It would run into the hundreds, because if you think that we work on the buildings, homelessness charities are the experts at offering the services that those buildings provide, and every building will see literally hundreds of people a year. And so what we do by improving and renovating and refurbishing the buildings has an effect not just for a week or a month, but a whole year, and affects the lives of all the people who go through.
So it has a knock-on effect continuously. So I guess this next question is sort of related to that. How many people has Crash helped over the years? It must be in the...
Well, literally, it would be hundreds of thousands. It's easier to talk maybe in terms of the number of projects we respond to in a year. So we would get in every year an average of between 50 and 60 new applications for help, all from homelessness charities registered with Charity Commission. And then we really help probably most of those, providing they meet our criteria. And then also, because buildings, take quite a long time in some cases, we start the year every year with a certain number of projects that we've brought forward from the year before. So the ones we would complete in a year are probably, again, between 70 and 80 projects right across the UK. The simplest example is when a charity might contact us and say, our boiler's broken, we've got no hot water, no heating. And then the companies, because we're an industry charity, so the companies who support us would help us with the recommendation of what's the best kind of boiler, providing a boiler and installing it. The most technically challenging is if we're doing a new build, and then we will be involving the services and the expertise of a whole range of different companies, and that might take up to 3 years to complete.
Okay. Is Crash run as a business, or is it very much a charity?
Well, we're certainly very much a charity. We are registered with the Charity Commission. But my goodness, we have to be as effective, as resilient, as focused as any business. We probably have to be a good deal more transparent than some are, as that is the requirement, and so it should be, because people are trusting us with their money and with their products, and they have every right to expect that.
So no avoiding tax for Crash then?
Well, as a charity we don't pay tax, but interestingly we do need to be, we are externally audited every year. And we pride ourselves on, for example, we have a system that we've developed where we're able to record the value of every product that is donated to us, every hour of professional expertise. And we are able to produce a CSR report for each of our patron companies at the end of their financial year. So they know exactly what they helped with, where that was, and what the value of their time is.
Okay. Why does the industry need Crash?
The industry needs Crash because we are the conduit for all these different companies to bring them together to offer this very specialised help to local communities and to help some of the most vulnerable people in our society. So it means that companies can work really closely together and through one recognised charity that they support. So again, it makes for a very effective solution and a very effective outcome for them.
Isn't what Crash does sort of, should it be an arm of the government that's taking care of the homeless people? I mean, the state's responsibility to its citizens they have a responsibility to take care of those most vulnerable.
Yes, indeed, and government do, though Crash, interestingly, and it's a choice we've made, does not accept any government funding. We are entirely supported by the construction industry to do what the construction industry does best, buildings. And I think that's it goes hand in hand. I mean, it's great to see the industry stepping up in a completely independent way to invest in people and local communities, and it's something companies and supporters should be immensely proud of. And the way through the recession that they've continued to support us has been brilliant.
Isn't the construction industry too busy, too hard pressed to be of any real help?
Oh, you'd think so, wouldn't you? And you could understand, particularly through the recession. No, I've worked in the charitable sector for over 20 years, and I am thrilled being with Crash because it's an absolute demonstration of what, to me, charity really is about. It's human beings. It's not just about money. Of course, money helps and it turns into grants for projects, but it's about people sharing what they're good at. And at the end of the day, isn't that what charity is about? So when you get an engineer coming on site, sharing his skills and his expertise, or we have somebody from ACCO maybe, explaining what of their projects would be the very best for this site, and that's help that homelessness charities couldn't possibly afford to pay for.
Of course, everything is sort of donated, it's free, even time, materials. Do you have any good examples for us of success stories?
How long have you got? Yeah, we've got lots of
just the most extravagant.
Well, I think the most wonderful one we're dealing with at the moment is in Dorset. After London and South East, the highest area of homelessness and rough sleeping is in the southwest of England. And we see that borne out in the applications we receive. And this is a brilliant example of where a number of companies and supporters have all come together to produce a tremendous result. So the project is a small working farm, and they accept people who, in some cases, have mental health problems, addictions, that's what led to homelessness, or maybe just a breakdown. And when you go there, you agree to help in some elements with the farm. So if animals aren't your thing, you can help by growing food, or preparing the food, or milking the cows, or feeding the chickens, whatever. But it's that routine and responsibility, and the fact, I think, that animals are very non-judgmental and really help people to heal and recover. And so we had to help them initially with some accommodation of a barn, and then they had a whole range of loose boxes, which originally horses had been in, which they were using for their rough sleepers. Now, E.C. Harris has come together and given an enormous amount of pro bono expertise. We've had BAM who have come in as contractors who have done everything at cost, and then we have other of our suppliers who've all given time and free materials, and we were completely taken down to the ground and rebuilt this whole unit. So now it's offering some stables for some of the animals, community rooms for training and for running meetings, etc., and then 6 units of accommodation. It's absolutely wonderful, and to see those companies find the time and the generosity and to come together, even sometimes they may be competitors, but for Crash they come together. Absolutely brilliant.
Next question here is, how do individuals in organisations contribute?
So we have our patron companies, and then the individuals within those companies, if they would like to get involved. So some companies have volunteering days. So usually somebody in the company will have noted who would like to offer their help, what their expertise is, and where they are in the country geographically. So then when we need a building surveyor or a QS or an engineer, we can go to the companies we know that offer that, or if it's materials, which materials they offer, and then we marry up what's needed for projects with the people who want to volunteer.
Okay, so it is sort of just a very big community spirit, everything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's really nice. What is the biggest challenge that Crash faces today?
The biggest challenge is I would like to bring the number of patron companies to 36, which means we would like to get in the next couple of years 6 more companies to join the patron companies that we have. And that would allow us to do quite a significant amount more, because sometimes you do put out a request and it's just not the right time for a company. They do have their business that they have to do first. And that would put us in a very powerful position to deliver a tremendous amount of help right across the spectrum of what's needed, but also of what the industry can offer.
And finally, the biggest challenge for the future?
The biggest challenge for the future is remaining as lean as we are. We only have 4 employees. 4.
And you are one of them.
And I'm one of them. You have a quarter of the charity.
Very nice.
And we can operate that way because we're able to tap into the resources of these wonderful companies who help us. And that when you come and have a look at our stand today, which has been donated to us by UBM Live Built Environment, which is being staffed by volunteers from all these different companies. It really is a wonderful coming together of people's goodwill and a genuine wish to help people in our communities. So the more effective we can be and work with the companies, we don't need to grow or build an empire in Crush itself. But my goodness, I hope that the spread of what we can do, both for the companies, we need to offer a service to them and to beneficiaries. I would like to see that just steadily but effectively and efficiently build and build.
This seems to be beneficial for both companies and volunteers to get involved.
It's a real win-win situation.
Win-win, yeah. All right, well, thank you very much for your time.